So I saw the play, and I'm a person that loves sports and was a good athlete, and I understand sports really well, really well. And that wasn't a foul. That wasn't even an infraction. That was two guys running full speed that happened to crash into each other. You can't take your foot and properly place it on somebody else's foot when you're going, no, these were two great athletes that got tangled up, and this referee.
What should have been a defining moment of American pride on the world's biggest soccer stage quickly took an unexpected turn. The U.S. men's national team was making an incredible World Cup run, exceeding expectations and building unstoppable momentum. Then Donald Trump inserted himself into the story. After a controversial refereeing decision threatened to disrupt Team USA's campaign, Trump stepped into the spotlight, presenting himself as the ultimate authority on the sport and trying to seize control of the conversation. What he appeared to believe would become a patriotic show of leadership instead spiraled into a media spectacle. And once The Daily Show's Desi Lydic got hold of the footage, she wasted no time turning Trump's dramatic intervention into a full-scale comedic collapse.
That nobody could believe. You know, even people on the other side, they say, oh, we got lucky. Wow. And it's very interesting. They say they don't show them in slow motion. And I never realized that. I never heard of that before. Then I started hearing that means he can't play in the next game, at least in the next game. I said, boy, that's a big, if it happened to another player, it would have been unfair. But when they take your best player, or just about, they have some great players, and they say you can't play, that's very unfair.
If you're enjoying this deep dive into late-night political showdowns, make sure to subscribe. Your support helps the channel more than you might realize. Trump didn't react to the match like an ordinary fan. He spoke as though the credibility of the entire World Cup rested on his personal judgment. To him, the referee's decision wasn't simply a difficult call. It was an international injustice directed at America's finest players. Standing in front of a large backdrop, Trump launched into a lengthy explanation of soccer's rules as if he had written the rulebook himself, seemingly unaware of how unusual his sudden passion for red cards appeared to audiences around the world. In his mind, he was defending the nation's honor. Meanwhile, late-night television was already preparing to dismantle his performance.
Learning about the sport of soccer, because America has been hosting the World Cup. Very American to not cheer the World Cup. And up to the last week, the U.S. team was doing much better than expected, in large part thanks to his leading scorer, Folarin Balogun. Nothing could stop this guy. I mean, nothing.
One of the star players on the U.S. men's soccer team getting hit with a red card and forced to skip next week's.
Then came Desi Lydic. With global attention already fixed on the World Cup, she recognized the perfect opportunity to challenge Trump's unexpected transformation into a soccer commentator. Lydic highlighted the absurdity of a former president inserting himself into one of the world's biggest sporting events simply to reshape the story around his own grievances and perspective. Rather than allowing the players to enjoy their achievement, Trump had effectively tried to make himself part of the lineup. Piece by piece, Lydic dismantled the spectacle, emphasizing the humorous contrast between elite international competition and one man's determination to remain the center of attention. She referenced the controversial moment involving leading scorer Folarin Balogun, who received a red card for a hard foul, a decision that resulted in his immediate dismissal from the match and suspension for the following game.
Scorer Folarin Balogun given a red card for a hard foul, the high-level penalty resulting in the player's immediate ejection from the current game and suspension from the very next game they play.
You're gonna give Balogun a red card because it looks like maybe he snapped a guy's ankle in slow motion? Yo, everything looks worse in slow motion. You ever seen a guy get hit by a car in slow motion? It looks horrible. It looks like murder. But if you watch it in
Lydic's step-by-step breakdown had the studio audience roaring with laughter. By comparing the replay sequence to watching a car crash unfold in reverse, she underscored just how far-fetched Trump's defense of the officiating sounded. In the process, she transformed what he intended as a patriotic intervention into the evening's biggest joke. Instead of appearing as a commanding voice in international sports, Trump was recast as an eccentric fan arguing with the television. Reports soon claimed that Trump was furious over the segment, upset that his highly publicized defense of Team USA had been reduced to a late-night comedy routine. But by then, the public narrative had already taken hold. What was supposed to be a triumphant public appearance had become a widely mocked media moment. The closing portion of Lydic's monologue proved especially memorable. By joking, "We call life's manager," she compared a former president to an unhappy customer demanding to speak with a supervisor over a referee's decision. The line completely undercut the powerful image Trump had hoped to project on the world stage. Rather than portraying a leader influencing global events, she painted the picture of someone interrupting a celebration simply to draw attention back to himself. According to the story, Trump reacted immediately after hearing about the segment, reportedly blasting Lydic as fake, jealous, and desperate, while insisting his critics were attacking what he viewed as a patriotic celebration. But the jokes had already landed. Lydic closed with one final punchline that summed up the entire episode. "Usually when you score a goal, you don't accuse the replay booth of treason.